Hello, welcome back everybody. I'm going to do a video today which was inspired by something that's happening on Instagram this week. A good friend of mine, Timo, basically started a hashtag on Instagram about under the radar fragrances, and it kind of inspired this video because I'll have to give a definition of what under the radar means to me. I guess in my case, it is, I'm going to talk about 4 perfumes that I really like, right? And a couple of them come from reasonably well-known houses. So we could do a whole other video on under the radar perfume houses. But these are individual perfumes I think are under the radar, which to me basically means that I think, well, you have to think that they're good perfumes to start with. Otherwise, there's kind of no point talking about them. I think these are great perfumes for what they are, but they don't really get talked about that much, maybe because there are other more popular perfumes in those styles, or even they're overshadowed by more popular perfumes within their particular line. I'll give examples as I go. So I'm going to get straight into it. No more rambling, all right, because people complain in the comments that I talk too much before I even start talking about perfume, so bad luck. Okay, so L'Artisan Parfumé have released some great perfumes over the years, since the 70s, and they've even discontinued recently some really good well-known perfumes, but I think this one is still available. It's not very much talked about, and now that I'm trying to remember, I don't remember when this was released. This is Al Oud. I've done a review of it, and I'll leave a link up on the screen. Al Oud, to me, is a great example of those types, those kind of dirty spice perfumes that are sweetened by an amber accord, along with things like dried fruits. In this case, dates are listed in the note pyramid, although whether I can smell dates specifically, there is some nondescript dried fruit accord that gives it its sweetness on an amber base to me. In terms of the name, Al Oud, yes, there's probably oud in there. This to me is not an oud perfume. You can probably smell it in the slightly animalic nuances that this gives off. I think most of the parts that this perfume might show up as, hard to wear for some people, might be from cumin. I get a lot of cumin from this, but I find it's really well balanced with the sweetness of the fruits, and I think it's just great. Like things that remind me of this perfume, which I also like, are probably more well-known perfumes like Serge Lutens. Fumerie Turque is an example of that kind of thing, although this doesn't really have a kind of sweet tobacco thing going on as well. But there are a lot of these type of perfumes that utilize this, kind of dirty, warm spice and dried fruit accords. And I think Al Oud probably was one of the earlier ones, that sort of one of the pioneers of this kind of group of perfumes. And I think it's still great. If you can, I haven't tried the newer bottles and whether it's changed that much, but I really, really love this perfume. Moving on to an indie brand. Now, this indie brand's been around for a few years now, and when you hear about Rogue Perfumery, you hear a lot about things like Chypre Siam or Mousse Illuminée, even Dervish, which I've also reviewed on this channel. But for me, I have really, really grown to love Tabac Vert because it doesn't really kind of remind me of any other perfume that I've smelled. There's probably ones out there I know actually when I first got it, people were saying that this was in the same kind of light as Creed's Tabarome, vintage Tabarome, and I've never smelled that, so I don't know what that smells like. To me, this is this really, the main things I love about this is that it's got this kind of very, I want to say it's like a green carnation accord. It's spicy, but there is this also this very, very clean musk, which makes this carnation accord billow when it's on the skin, and it develops on your skin. In terms of its name, Tabac Vert, green tobacco, I can see how it smells would give off that vibe. Admittedly, I have never smelled other types of tobacco apart from, you know, pipe tobacco, real pipe tobacco, tobacco and cigars, cigarettes, and so on. And I have tobacco absolute as a raw material, which really I can't smell in here. So whatever is being used for that tobacco note, I'm not sure. It could be a range of materials. But my point is that I think this is a very under the radar for this house perfume in Rogue Perfumery. So if you're thinking about sampling Rogue Perfumery, by all means try those other popular perfumes, but see if you can include a sample of Tabac Vert in there. Next one I'm going to talk about is, look, there are two what I would call main vetiver perfumes in my wardrobe. For the warmer weather, I can't really go past Guerlain's vetiver. And then for slightly cooler weather and something moving away from the citrus, the woody citrus vetiver trope, I have Classical by designer Anat Fritz. I've also done a review of this, so I'll leave a link. This, along with Guerlain's vetiver, is my favorite vetiver perfume, basically. Now, there are equal parts, I think, lavender, vetiver, and I guess to a little bit of a lesser extent, sitting on a base of patchouli is this perfume. But when I wear this, I always kind of marvel at how, I don't know what type of vetiver is used in here, whether it's, you know, what country it's sourced from, even if it's real vetiver oil, I don't know. But I do love this kind of creamy nuttiness that comes from the vetiver, and paired with the toned down aromatic lavender. And when I say toned down, it's not as in your face as something like Caron's Pour en Homme lavender. This one's it smells more natural to me than Caron's lavender, you know. So there is a, this perfume gives off a feeling that it really feels like a natural perfume. And by that, what I mean is that, like, there could be a bunch of aroma chemicals in here, synthetic ingredients, but to me, it smells like someone's just really taken vetiver oil, lavender absolute, patchouli, and just blended it really perfectly. And it wears all day. I never get sick of wearing Classical by Anat Fritz. So under the radar, mainly in terms of not many people really talk about this house. I think there are only two perfumes in the line, but I kind of would love to see more people try this and enjoy it as much as I do. Okay, so I was a little bit undecided about whether to include this perfume in this video, because this is definitely under the radar, and the main reason being is that most of you watching this video will probably never get to try it, but luckily it does it is still available, and there is always a possibility of getting a bottle because they are also very cheap. So I'll tell you what this is. This is called, the name of this perfume is Guvano number 4, or numero quattro in Italian. It's from a very, very small house called Gocce di Byron. Now, I'm going to leave a link to their website in the description. If you go through their website, if you can translate it to English, because I think it's in Italian, it might translate to other languages. If you want to try this in person, there are like 3 stores, and they are all located on the Italian Riviera region of Cinque Terre. I was lucky enough to be there a few years ago on vacation, and I stumbled across their store and I tried a few of them. I wasn't that crazy about some of them, and I tried this one, number 4. And I had struggled with fig perfumes, and not so much that I didn't like the smell of fig, just I had struggled to find one that really worked on my skin. I had tried Diptyque Philosikos, Premier Figue from L'Artisan, two of the probably main popular fig perfumes. I sprayed this on. Official notes are, I think, just fig and sandalwood. So there is this kind of creamy, woody base to this, but the fig really dominates here. And when I sprayed this on, I thought, wow, this is really nice. And because my mind was thinking, this is pretty cheap perfume, it's not widely known, you know, does this really smell as good as I think it does? So I sprayed it on and went for a walk, deciding whether I would go back to buy this bottle. So the next day, I was walking through the village there, and I suddenly smelled what I thought was this perfume on somebody else, obviously. But the only thing was that I definitely wasn't wearing it, and there was no one else around. And I realized that I was smelling actual fig trees that were growing, you know, beside the road. And I realized that really, in my mind, this fig accord was so natural smelling that it reminded me of real fig trees. I went back, I bought the bottle, and I have absolutely no regrets about it. It's the only real fig perfume that I wear, and it's just been getting a lot of use this summer in the Southern Hemisphere here. So that's Guvano number 4 from Gocce di Byron. I do believe on their website, if you check their website, apart from the 3 stores at Cinque Terre in Italy, they appear to have, you can contact them, and they appear to have US distribution. Whether they have it anywhere else now, it doesn't look like the website gets updated very regularly. But if you're interested in trying it, they're not, well, they weren't expensive, but I can't really remember how much they cost now. You'll see on the website. Give them a go. They've got other perfumes there, but I can't really remember much about the other ones. But this is Guvano number 4, definitely under the radar. If anyone's ever tried it, I think there's only like 1 or 2 reviews on Fragrantica for this, so not many people have tried it. So they're my 4 under the radar perfumes, and yeah, I think that's it. So it was lovely to see you all again, and I will be back with another video sometime in the future. Bye.